Hi, guys, and welcome to another Transformational Tuesday. I'm your host, Amy Chambers, and I'm so excited to be here today. I'm feeling completely healthy after I recovered from some sickness last week, and it's just so exciting to talk about the fifth P of personal power today as I see it. And this one's probably one of my favorites. It's been the most transformational for me, and it's also the most complex. And so if you're near a pad of paper, you have a pen, I'd suggest grabbing those and getting prepared to take some notes. There's several sub-concepts with this P that are a little bit scientific, and they take some work to understand. And so, again, I think the notes will help, but I would love to invite anyone and everyone to reach out, IM me, message me, text me, email me if you've got that information. Just reach out in any way, shape, or form if you'd like to talk about these concepts more. A lot of you have been doing that on these videos so far. I've been loving it. It's been great to hear from people, and so I can't wait to hear people's thoughts on these concepts. I'm going to break, because this P is so complex, this P into two parts. So we're going to talk about this again next week, but I'm going to give you half of what I think is valuable today, and then we'll talk about it again next week. So quick recap of weeks 1 through 4 when it came to the P's. Number 1 was all about purpose. This is about having a why, an end in mind, that magnificent, luminous, imagined state that is different than your reality today, and knowing what that is and kind of thinking about that a lot. P number 2 was plan. It's connecting your action and your behavior and what you do every day to the purpose that you have and making sure those things are in alignment. Number 3 was passion, and that's about loving and having an excitement for what it is that you're doing and feeling like you want to do it versus you have to do it or you should do it or you ought to do it, and really connecting to your true self and saying, I love this and this is who I am and I'm good at this. And number 4 is practice. It's all about that time on the field or time in the seat of whatever it is that you're trying to get better at, beating on your craft, beating on your skill, and just getting the hours in to really refine and hone and make those mistakes and learn from them and have those experiences. And the P I'd like to share with you today, are you guys ready for it? It's present. It's about being present and staying present and being connected to the present moment and what that really means and how hard that can be and why. And so we'll dive right in. Again, we're going to talk about half of it today, and then we're going to go back and talk about this again next week. There's 2 places that I see people spend a lot of time in their minds and in their speech and in their thoughts. And it's either the past or it's the future. And neither of those are nearly as good as just staying connected to the present moment. And today what we're going to talk about primarily is what happens when people are in the past, and then next week I can kind of talk about what happens when people are in the future. And so what I'll see people do a lot in the past, and here's where it becomes important to take notes. So there's a couple of theories I subscribe to. One of them is a results pyramid, and it's a formula that basically says your experiences lead to your beliefs lead to your actions lead to your results. And I'll repeat that again. Your experiences lead to your beliefs lead to your actions, and your actions lead to your results. Now, a lot of us have had some not so great experiences. We've had a friend that has hurt us or wronged us or harmed us. We've had a boss or a company make a decision that didn't feel good to us. Maybe something got realigned or somebody left, or and then there was overtime that needed to be worked or whatever it was. Potentially, we get hung up on experiences we've had with ourselves. We've made a mistake, we've messed up, and we beat ourselves up for those things. And we develop these beliefs over what's good and what's bad because of those experiences. And so when things kind of start to trigger us, or we feel like something is happening again, we'll get very upset kind of more quickly the second, the third, the fifth, the 15th time. And we'll say, oh gosh, here we go again. I remember what this was like last time. And we'll develop a belief about it and then potentially take an action that leads to a poor result. And one of the things that I really want to impress upon everybody in regards to this E-bar concept, experience, belief, action, result, is that even though you've had some bad experiences in the past, you can change how you feel about those now. The experiences you're going to have today, tomorrow, in the future can end up being very, very different. And you can also change what you believe about those same experiences. And if you change what you believe, you'll almost certainly change your actions. And when you change your actions, you almost definitely, certainly change your results. And so I want to talk a little more. The second concept that I think is worth writing down is some information I want to give you on how our brains work. And this is something that I'm writing about in my first book, which I think is going to be called Virtues. I'm basically done with it. I'm starting my editing process, and this is really important. It's relevant to the first book, but ultimately there's two parts of our brain, and we have a subconscious mind and a conscious mind. And our subconscious mind, it's what makes decisions for us very rapidly when we don't have time to think about it. It's what's allowing me to make this video while breathing and listening to the washing machine running in the background and thinking about what I have to do after or what I get to do after this video, and do that all at the same time. Our subconscious brains can process information at a rate of 4,000 times the speed of our conscious minds. It's what allows us to stop at a red light just because we see it's red. Our foot is already moving to the brake. We don't have to think about that. It does it for us. It's what really kept us alive hundreds of years ago when we were being chased by predators. It's what put us with a flight or a fight response. And because the subconscious mind works so quickly, it actually helps keep us alive. It's what helps us to pull away from that hot stove instantaneously so we don't get burned when we feel it. And the subconscious mind can be very, very useful, but it also can be very, very dangerous. And I want to share two things about the subconscious mind that are just so important. And it's really the two things that it does for us, and the only two things it does for us. And that's that it runs old programs, so it's running on autopilot. It does what it's been taught over and over again. It's a creature of habit. And secondarily, it wants to protect us. It wants to keep us safe and out of harm's way. And while we've talked about how great that is, the reality is that can really hold us back from taking risks and exploring new things in life. For years, I've wanted to do this. Coaching business, speaking business, training business, doing what I'm starting to do now. But because of my subconscious mind saying, well, my gosh, I mean, you won't have a guaranteed income then. Isn't it just safer to work for a company that, pays you, that has, some sustainability to it? Oh yeah, that's not for you. Other people can go out and do that, but no, you should stay put where you are. And I allowed myself to dismiss my hopes and goals and dreams because I was like, that's probably not for me. I shouldn't do that. I don't think that would feel good. That could be painful. I'll stay put. I'll do what I am. And so the reality is that while the subconscious can be very helpful for us, it prevents us from being uncomfortable, which really prevents us from growing and changing and adapting and evolving. And so it keeps us in the same place year after year after year, hanging on to the same old hurts and emotions, when we could make a different decision that would actually improve our life, because it thinks it's trying to protect us and help us, but it's really not. The conscious part of our brain is the part that we control, and we can make decisions with it, but we have to actually consciously use it. And so while it runs slower, it is very powerful once it's turned on. And there's a lot more I could say about this. The real winners in life have gotten their conscious and their subconscious to work in agreement and alignment, and that's really a whole book. There's books that have been written on that concept. I'd love to talk more about that. But the best and easiest and quickest way you can start is to just start to recognize that you have a subconscious mind and a conscious mind. And whenever you're not feeling good, you're angry, you're upset, you have anxiety, you're blaming somebody, you're blaming yourself, you're sitting here saying, well, that's not fair, and why does this have to be happening? And I can't believe that so-and-so did that to me again, and this doesn't feel right, and I don't like this. You get to stop and slow down and consciously ask yourself, okay, wait a minute. What's going on with me right now? How am I feeling? Do I want to be feeling this way? Do I have a choice in it? Can I make a different decision? And almost always, you will find that the answer is yes. And so just be very aware that when you're upset, you're hurting, you're angry, you're nervous, you're afraid, potentially your subconscious mind is running the show. Your experiences that you've had are leading to beliefs, and those things are harming you and holding you back from staying connected to yourself in the present moment. The final thing I'm going to say in this segment of the P of presence is that we have two circles that we can live in. And we have a circle of influence, which is things we can't control, things that we can control. Our circle of influence or our circle of control are things we can affect. And then we have our circle of concern. The circle of concern is where we can't control things. And the reality is that the more time we spend focused on either one of the circles, the less time we have and can and do focus on the other circle. So if you're a person that finds yourself blaming others and focusing on what didn't go right, or what other people did to you, or what happened to you, or what the past was, you will find that you have much less time to focus on yourself and what you can do and what decisions you can make and the control that you have and the power that you have and what's going right. And people that focus on the circle of control a lot, they don't really give a lot of attention to the things that they can't control. Someone might harm them or hurt them, and it's okay. Well, I just need to focus on how can I get better. If traffic or weather doesn't cooperate, it's okay. Well, I'm going to choose to have fun anyway. What can I do? Well, how can I respond to this? And focusing on our circle of control helps us stay much more present in the current moment. We don't have to worry about other people or the past or what's not going well. We get to take that control and that power back and say, I can make a decision in this moment to do something. The way we stay really connected to ourselves presently, and that's where we have all the power, is when we stay connected and focused on the present moment and what can I do right now, is we overcome these tendencies to focus on circumstances or what happened to us or what happened in the past or what other people are doing, and we focus instead on just simply ourselves. And we stop and we slow down and we ask ourselves, hey, how am I feeling right now? What would be the best outcome? If I were in the highest version of my best self, what would I do right now? Maybe I would forgive. Maybe I would calm down and be patient. Maybe I would seek to understand. Maybe I would, just give it some time to think about how I'm feeling. We are able to make better decisions when we get connected to the present moment. Final thoughts to add. One way to help yourself with this is to start each day, and you can see I have some paper in front of me here, and you start each day with whether it's a daily dedication or setting your intention for the day or writing down your plan for the day. But start each day and ask yourself a couple questions and write them down on paper. Who do I want to be today? What do I want to accomplish today? Who am I trying to help today? What's one thing I'm excited about today? How do I want to show up today? And we write it down at the very beginning of the day. We put it in our conscious mind. I guarantee you, when the experiences, the past, those other people, that don't do the right thing or say the right thing come for you, if you'd already thought about who you want to be and how you're going to respond, you are going to do better of those moments of trial and tribulation. And the other thing you can do is do a checkout at the end of the night and kind of evaluate yourself and say, how did I do today? Would I give myself a good grade today? Did I behave the way I wanted to? Oh, why not? I had a mistake today. I fell short. What happened? What led me to stumble? How am I going to prevent that tomorrow? Or celebrate your success. Wow, I did really well today. My very good friend from childhood that I sometimes argue with, she kind of attacked me today, and I stood my ground. I kind of held off. I was calm. I was proud of how I responded. If you do that every day in the morning and every day at night before you go to bed, you gain a lot more awareness of who you are, what you're thinking. You connect with your conscious mind. You start to let the subconscious be overruled. You kind of let some of these past experiences go. You let the past go. You get just very focused on that next thing. A final thought, we sometimes get so wrapped up in what we're trying to build and create, and we get frustrated because we're like, it hasn't happened yet. I don't have that promotion yet. I haven't lost the weight yet. I'll be happy when these things happen. The way we stay present in the moment is we just always are thinking about, well, what's the next step? What's the one next thing I can do? What's the next step I can take? When we do that, we allow ourselves to be focused on that circle of control, and we win the day. We win the present moment. I guarantee you do these things, you understand and are aware of kind of how these things are happening behind the scenes in your head, you will instantaneously increase the amount of power you have in your life. You'll feel happier, you'll be more successful, and you'll be on the road to all the things that you want. So I can't wait to talk about this again next week and talk about what happens when we live too much in the future instead of the past. I enjoyed being here with you guys today, and thank you so much for your time. I hope everyone's having a great week.